What's interesting is the blockchain world, the crypto world, is quickly coming up with credit solutions, right? We've tokenized the CLO recently. You got Mike Cagney's got a whole company, right? That's tokenizing mortgages.
The biggest fight in the current Senate bill revolves around one word: yield. Novogratz points out a staggering hypocrisy. Currently, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Citibank pay their customers virtually nothing, less than 10 basis points on standard savings accounts. Most people stay because of laziness or a false sense of security. But the stablecoin industry threatens to break this monopoly. A stablecoin backed one-for-one by U.S. Treasury bills is a perfect financial instrument for the consumer. If you found value in this breakdown, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with other investors who are paying attention. We're here to keep bringing you sharp analysis and voices that understand what's unfolding. Thanks for watching.
Let's start with the good news. The good news is, on the Democratic side, from the Minority Leader Schumer all the way down, there is a commitment to get this done. People actually want to get this done, and they want to do it for two reasons. A, they think it's important for America to lead in digital assets. But maybe more importantly, B, they realized it was really bad politics to be anti-crypto, and so they want to be seen as being pro-crypto. And they want to get this off the table going into the midterms and the 28 elections, right? Pass this bill, and there's no real legislation left in the crypto space. And so I think there is good faith, and I think they've been negotiating in good faith. And I think on the Republican side, same thing, though a little frustration of how long this is taking. And then what I would tell you is, it's a really complicated set of issues. Like if me and you were writing the bill, guys who are pretty good at crypto, we'd have a hard time figuring out every issue. And now you match that with the fact that our industry isn't an industry, it's a group of fragmented people with their own ideas. And, you know, whoever spends the most lobbying seems to have the strongest voice. You know, Brian Armstrong, there's 21 lobbyists on his team in D.C. They have been all over the Hill for a long period of time and deserve a lot of credit for getting a lot of this stuff hashed out. They've been loud and vocal about interest on stable coins. I think we're going to lose that battle as an industry. It's a shame. It just tells you how strong the bank lobby is, and there'll be a compromise. The compromise is the stablecoin companies will be able to give some reward points out for usage, but not balances. So,
and you think people like the Coinbase team will accept something like that, Michael?
I don't want to speak for Brian or Coinbase. My gut feeling is, when you look at the bill in whole, it is so good for the industry to move on. You'll do that, and then you'll come back and try to fight that in round two a couple of years later.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the enemy of progress is the search for perfection. As you and I both know as entrepreneurs, you got to get things going and then tweak them as you go. But let's go to this issue because we've got a lot of young viewers. Fractional banking is such that I make a deposit and then the bank uses my money in lots of different ways, including loaning it to potential mortgages or commercial real estate, or it could be a business loan to somebody, and they take a spread. They pay me interest and they charge interest on the loan, and there's a spread there because the way fractional banking works is a little bit of a multiplier effect to those deposits. That's not true in the stablecoin industry. Is that correct?
Let's be careful. So yes, you're right. So if I was the Fed chair and I thought I'm going to have deposit flight and it's all going to go to stable coins and there's no credit creation mechanism on the other side, I'd be scared. What's interesting is the blockchain world, the crypto world, is quickly coming up with credit solutions, right? We've tokenized the CLO recently. You got Mike Cagney's got a whole company, right? That's tokenizing mortgages. You know, there is a big and growing DeFi credit business that we're participating in Galaxy all the time, and that's kind of when I see the big growth industry. So I think in time, in 3, 4, 5 years, you're going to be able to keep stable coins in your wallet. You're going to be able to actually lend out money to small businesses, to large businesses, to mortgages in tokenized form. And so I do think that transition will happen. And it was interesting. A few senators were really excited when we were explaining to them what was happening in DeFi credit. So that's one thing that you will have credit creation. The second thing is, listen, they're worried about deposit flight. Why? Because JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citibank on your savings account pay you nothing. They pay you less than 10 basis points. And so your desire to hold money in savings, most of it's laziness. You want to keep your money somewhere safe. You're not really paying attention. There are places, Galaxy One will take your money at FDIC insured 4%. SoFi does. And there's a ton of neobanks where people can move their money, and they haven't. So this idea that we're going to see this crazy amount of deposit flight into stablecoins from U.S. customers is a smokescreen. The big banks are using the small regional community banks as their weapon. Saying, oh, you're going to ruin the community banks. I'd say the same thing. If people wanted to take their money out of community banks and put it into a neobank, they already would have. Like, these are your least sophisticated investors. Over time, yes, an interest-bearing stablecoin is a better instrument for the consumer than having your money in a bank that might or might not be insured by the government, right? I know my stablecoin is fully backed by the Treasury bill, right? So it's full faith credit of the not a loose idea that maybe they're going to bail out Silicon Valley Bank. And so it's ironic that the Democrats and the Republicans are kind of fighting on behalf of the banks on this issue as opposed to the consumer.
Perhaps the most shocking development of early 2026 is the political and legal pressure on the Federal Reserve. With reports of a Department of Justice investigation into Jerome Powell regarding Fed renovation projects, the chair is under unprecedented pressure.
If you're a betting man now, Warsh feels like he's the insider. Right. We know he's close with Bessent. They were both mentored by Stan Druckenmiller. Quite frankly, Warsh's office, it's in Druckenmiller. He works for Druckenmiller. And for the viewers that don't know Stan Druckenmiller, he's kind of God when it comes to macroeconomics. He literally is the most respected, or one of the most.
But also 10 years ago, he was out there going to colleges. This is Stan Druckenmiller. With the help of Kevin Warsh, he was going out there saying, hey, there's a generational theft going on.
It's called
borrowing too much money.
Kicks back.
Yeah.
The idea was, can you actually show young people how bad they're being screwed and have them become a political voice? And unfortunately, young people.
The answer to that was no, Michael. No, they didn't care.
Young people come and go when it's like you need a lightning bolt that like Mondami got the lightning bolt and got them all engaged right now. Obama had done it briefly. But, when you're in your 20s, you care about finding your mate, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your future wife. You find about getting your job, starting to build your grub stake of money so you have shit to do. Like, politics is not where you spend your time. When you're my age and your age, you go home, you say hi to your wife, you turn on the news, or you pick up the paper, you go onto Twitter or X, and you just drive yourself crazy with politics. But when you're 26, you're like, where are we going tonight?
Right. Where are we going tonight? And can you believe they took that much out of my paycheck? I was a liberal, but I'm now thinking of voting a Republican. But Mike, what does that mean, though? Is because we talked about this last week. He's criminally investigating Jerome Powell. I think that's sending a message to people.
Warsh, in the short run, would be seen as a more conservative pick, who has a ton of integrity. Like, when you meet Kevin,
I see Kevin as a monetarist, though. Mike, let me just stipulate this. I've heard him speak. I've read his papers. He's a hard dollar sort of a person. I don't see him as a guy that's going to jam rates down to zero. Has he changed his rhetoric?
Let's assume, again, me and you are the two central bank heads, and we have to take a serum that makes us apolitical. We are literally just going to do what we can. We're going to try to predict where inflation is going, where growth is going, and how do we hit the dual mandate of the Fed. Like, we're the AI version of the perfect Fed governor. it's a really, really hard debate on where inflation's going, because you've got AI, which could be the greatest productivity builder in the history of the universe. And I think Kevin Warsh believes inflation's going lower and Fed funds are too high. So I think in this period, his monetary view could align with what Trump wants, even if it's not for the same reason.
Okay, but listen, you could be in a situation where Kevin's position from his principles and his philosophical belief about how the Fed should operate could differ from President Trump. And then what, Mike?
The one thing we learned from Scott Bessent, and because I would have said the same things about Scott as I said about Bush going in, is when you're working for Trump, you learn really quickly he's the boss. And you don't take that job unless you're willing to bend some of your credibility, some of your reputation to be in that job. It's a deal with the devil. It just is. And I think Rick Reeder and Warsh are probably have already made that deal. You can justify, you can say, well, wait a minute, but the Fed has independence, so once I get in there, I can stand up-ish. But I don't think you take that job unless you're, and listen, we've seen this, Scott Bessent has become 8 times more political than I ever thought he'd become. And he's good at it from that respect.
We are at the crossroads of the greatest productivity builder in human history, AI. If the Fed can navigate this transition, and if the market structure bill finally passes, the efficiency gains will be unlike anything we've ever seen. The era of the paper pusher is ending. Whether it's in insurance, banking, or pharmaceuticals, the companies that adopt AI agents will see their margins soar. We are moving toward a hard dollar future backed by a Bitcoin standard for yield. If you found value in this breakdown, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with other investors who are paying attention. We're here to keep bringing you sharp analysis and voices that understand what's unfolding. Thanks for watching.